The department has some wonderful innovations going on right now, whether it's carbon fiber in bridges, where we're replacing the steel reinforcement in concrete bridges with carbon fiber that won't rust in the future, or whether it's electronic construction, e-construction or e-project, a pilot that we're doing here in Michigan that isn't being done anywhere else in the country. Many people may hear of the autonomous vehicle, hear the Google car, but frankly, we're the place to put the world on wheels, and that reinvention, that's happening right here in Michigan. And it will be the place that reinvents the automobile of the future.
The final report is everything. The final report is what you have to show for all the time and money spent on this project. Not only is it a federal requirement, it's a critical piece for communicating to those that will need to implement the results. And you're probably going to be involved with implementation. We've developed some guidelines that will help ensure that you are getting what you want. Toward the end of your project, you want to make sure you get all the deliverables required by the contract. Your project has several deliverables in addition to the final report. First, the completed Spotlight template. The principal investigators involved with completing the Spotlight template. This will provide you a brief summary of the research to share with stakeholders. For some critical projects, MDOT takes the next step and uses the template to develop a formal, graphically designed Spotlight document. As a project manager, you can request that Research Administration develop a formal Spotlight for your project. Next, all projects require an implementation plan. The principal investigator will provide an implementation plan that spells out the next steps MDOT can take to use the technology or knowledge developed by the research. Finally, many projects have additional deliverables that need to be turned in at the end of the project, like software, design guides, or specifications, to mention a few. All of these deliverables need to be submitted and reviewed in the final months of a project. In order to provide time for review before the contract runs out, the draft report and other project deliverables are due 3 months prior to the contract end date. You'll need to remind the principal investigator of this. In the first of these last 3 months, you lead the research advisory panel as they review the draft report. During this review, look at the report for completeness, technical merit, format, and style. You'll set a deadline for panel members, perhaps meet with them face-to-face to get their input, and provide compiled comments to the principal investigator. In the second of these last 3 months, the principal investigator updates the final report and resubmits it to you. In the final month, you will conduct the final review and provide approval. The principal investigator submits the final report after you have approved it. Once MDOT receives the research report passing your final acceptance, the final 15% of project costs are paid. MDOT holds this final 15% of cost to ensure delivery of the final report. As you review the final research report, use the guidelines found in the Research and Implementation Manual. The research report must include the abstract page. Research Administration will provide the research report number and a partially completed abstract page. The principal investigator will complete the abstract page and insert it into the research report. Additionally, a research report must include an executive summary, an introduction, objectives, scope, methodology, discussion of results, conclusions, recommendations for future research, and finally, recommendations for implementation. Once all reviews and revisions are done, and you've approved the final report, the principal investigator will deliver it to MDOT by sending it to the MDOT librarian. We need 2 hardbound double-sided copies of the report. We also need at least 1 searchable PDF file on a CD. Final reports will reside in the library and are accessible online through the Library and Research websites. For more information, please review the Research and Implementation Manual or contact us with your questions.